I'm 26 now, so I've been playing since I was 10. About 15, 16 years. I probably started when I was about 10 or 11. I'd already been playing clarinet for 2 years previously. When I was 8, my mum bought me a clarinet after endless tryout sessions on like so many different instruments. Named the tuba, the trombone, the euphonium, the trumpet. I even tried the violin when I was 7. And a professor of the Guildhall School of Music was doing sessions somewhere in the country. We lived sort of outside Cambridgeshire, Suffolk and Essex border in a place called Bolsham, and I got taken to this workshop and I tried out a violin at the age of 7, and this professor called Anna Dreier Beers said, no way, he is a string player, he's going to be a wind player. So my mum tried me out on brass instruments, and then none of them really fit the bill. And then I one day heard a clarinet on the radio, and I said to Mum, I want to try that. What is it? And it's a woodwind instrument. So woodwind became the instrument of choice. I started on the clarinet, played that for 2 years, and then moved on to the saxophone. I just love music in general. I mean, I loved being there in the room when my sister would sit there playing her cello, and naturally being always clued up in the music, coming from a family whose music, you'll always try and find a way to counterpart with your family counterparts. So my sister was a cellist, and I thought instantly I could be a violinist and work like a duo with my sister. And thinking of ways that I might be able to connect with the music positivities around me. So, but it wasn't meant to be. I was meant to go down my own path and kind of see it from a different angle. And my diversity in music and love kind of gradually expanded. From the age of 7, I was probably ever since I was a child, I'd always liked swing music and jazz. So, I mean, for goodness sake, when I was 7, I was in a school play where I was dressed up as one of the Sweets from the Nutcracker, and we would dance to Glenn Miller during like one of these scenes where all the Sweets come alive, and that's where I fell in love with jazz. I'd always been a performer. I remember at the age of 8, after a couple of months of playing the clarinet, I would stand up in front of my entire school in an assembly. We always had the last afternoon assembly on a Friday, and I was due to play a song for the entire school because my teachers thought I was something special, I guess. I don't know why they put me out there. I made so many mistakes, it was unreal, but they still gave me a mad applause. And I've always been a performer. I remember when I first started the sax, I would bring it into school on days when I didn't have lessons. And I would just sit in a classroom, and this is probably during our lunch hour, and the entire class and other kids from other years would come into the big year 6 class. It was the biggest in the school. It could fit like 100 people in there, and they would all listen to me play. I think the first time I actually went and did a busk, like a public performance for money, was when I was 11. I took part in a family fun day for the school I was at, and I remember exactly how much I made in 2 hours. Something like £37.50. And that was a lot of money to me at the age of 11. And it was a bit sad because it all went to charity. But I was really pleased that I could accumulate that sort of money even at the precious age of 11. I did nothing by way of busking. I never thought it would be out of my league to do it. I just didn't do it, and I was lazy. I spent more time sitting at home. By the time I was 15, I was trying my hardest to get in sort of 8 to 10 hours practice on several occasions. And I remember after my old man passed away, my mum would go to work at 7 a.m. to open up her department in the school she was in, and she wouldn't be back till about 7 that night. So I'd be all alone in the house for 12 hours and I would just practice because I kind of dropped out of school, and eventually they still let me back in to do my GCSEs, but I was just spending all that time just practicing and getting good because I didn't want to level off.